Let's continue with the Tafsir of Surat Yusuf. We're just about at the end of the story. Let's back up so that we can make sure everything in the story is flowing. So let's start here from Ayah 69. This is where the brothers of Yusuf came back to Egypt. So when did they go to Egypt? They went to Egypt to get supplies because the drought hit the land. Egypt and the surrounding lands. They were in Palestine. They met Yusuf without knowing who he was. They didn't recognize him, but he recognized them. They had the same clothing, same style, yani, same language. So he knew who they were. But they didn't know who he was because they thought he had perished. And because his attire was totally different. And because it had been a long time now. So he talked them into bringing their brother, which is his brother, yani his full brother. They're all brothers, but they're not all full brothers. They're all brothers from their father. 12 brothers with the same father. Some of them have different mothers. Between the 12 of them, there are 4 women, 4 mothers. Yusuf had a brother from his mother, and his other 11 brothers had different mothers. So he talked them into bringing his brother back to Egypt. How? And if you don't remember and you don't know, you need to review. So let's pick up from where they came back to Egypt with their brother. And that's here at Ayah 69. The author says, starting with the word of Allah Ta'ala, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولما دخلوا على يوسف آوى إليه أخاه. And when they entered where Yusuf was, he embraced his brother. Yani. So it was said, Yusuf had prepared meals for them in such a way that they would sit 2 by 2. But there were 11 of them. So they left their brother Binyamin to sit alone. And he was sad. And then Yusuf sat with him. قال إني أنا أخوك فلا تبتئس بما كانوا يعملون. He said, surely it is I. I am your brother. So fret not about what they used to do to us. And do not tell them about what I have told you. That's amongst what was said about what Yusuf told his brother. فلما جهزهم بجهازهم جعل السقاية في رحل أخيه. Then, when he prepared their provisions, each man gets a camel's load. That was Yusuf's standard for any customer, not more than a camel's load. He put the pitcher of gold with embedded gems in his brother's luggage. It was said that this was the king's pitcher. Pitcher, that's a large container for a drink, not picture, pitcher. A pitcher like someone who pitches a ball, a pitcher, but this is a pitcher with a different meaning. Pitcher, which is a container. So he put the pitcher in his brother's luggage. And then they packed up, they got into their caravan, and they left. When they left, they made some headway, meaning Yusuf let them get so far, a little bit far, and then he sent officers after them. And those officers were under the impression that they were thieves. ثم أذن مؤذن أيتها العير إنكم لسارقون. Then Joseph sent a caller who called out, Ya or أيتها العير, O caravan, إنكم لسارقون, surely you are thieves. So they pulled over. قالوا وأقبلوا عليهم ماذا تفقدون. They said while approaching them, yani they came out and then they were walking towards them and they were saying while coming towards them, ماذا تفقدون, what are you missing? قالوا نفقد صواع الملك ولمن جاء به حمل بعير ولمن جاء به حمل بعير وأنا به زعيم قالوا نفقد صواع الملك. The herald and his companions said, we are missing the king's pitcher. وَلِمَنْ جَاءَ بِهِ حِمْلُ بَعِيرٍ. And for whoever brings it, there is a camel's load. Yani, that's the reward. وَأَنَا بِهِ زَعِيمٌ. And I am its guarantor. قالوا تالله لقد علمتم ما جئنا لنفسد في الأرض وما كنا سارقين. They swore with astonishment, Tallahi, by God, you know that we have not come for corruption in the land, and we are not thieves. قالوا فما جزاؤه إن كنتم كاذبين. They said, then what is the payment? Meaning, what is the punishment for stealing it if you are liars? قالوا جزاؤه من وجد في رحله فهو جزاؤه. They said the payment for stealing it is whoever it was found in his luggage. He is the payment. كذلك نجزي الظالمين. كذلك نجزي الظالمين. Like that do we penalize the unjust thieves. They are enslaved according to our sacred law, made to be the servants of their victims. Yani that was in the law of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. He was a messenger. So then that's two things you know about the law of Yaqub, that it was lawful for a man to have to marry two sisters at the same time, and the punishment of the thief was to be made a slave of his victim. فبدأ بأوعيتهم قبل وعاء أخيه. Thus he started with searching their luggage before his brother's luggage. That is, Yani, either Yusuf himself was searching the luggage or the luggage was being searched by his command. Either way is valid to say he searched their luggage. It was said it was searched by his command, and that they wanted to look in Binyamin's luggage, And Yusuf said, no, not his. He's fine. He's okay. Look in their luggage first. So that it would be more surprising, more dramatic when the picture is found in Binyamin's luggage. So that's what they did. ثم استخرجها من وعاء أخيه. Then he pulled it from his brother's luggage. So then it was surprising, mind-blowing. كذلك كدنا ليوسف. Like that, we gave Joseph a clever ploy. Someone might say, we gave Joseph a scheme. Kidina means, it comes from Cade. Cade usually translates as scheme. Like, إنهم يكيدون كيدا وأكيد كيدا. This same word here. ما كان ليأخذ أخاه في دين الملك. He would not have been able to take his brother according to the policy of the king. He wouldn't have been able to take his brother as a slave because of thievery, according to the policy of the king, which was to instead be beaten and fined double the stolen amount. Human beings are not allowed to make laws. Maybe someone will hear that and say, yeah, I like that. No, don't like that. What did Allah say? وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Whoever does not rule according to what Allah revealed, then they are the major sinners. And then another ayah. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Whoever does not rule according to what Allah revealed, then those are the unjust. So Yusuf did something to be able to take his brother. Under the guise of his brother being a thief. إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. It was rather by Allah willing that he asked them to pronounce their own rule, so that it would seem that he took his brother according to their sacred law. From their own perspective, Binyamin was taken from them fair and square. نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَّن نَّشَاءُ. We elevate in status whomever we will, like Joseph. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. And over every created possessor of knowledge is someone more knowledgeable. Okay, that's where we left off. قالوا إن يسرق فقد سرق أخ له من قبل. They said, if he steals, then a brother of his has stolen from before. They meant Yusuf. He is the brother of Binyamin. إن يسرق, if this one steals, فقد سرق أخ له من قبل. Then a brother of his stole before. What does this mean here? They said that referring to any of several incidents that were reported about Yusuf's childhood. One is that it was said that once Yusuf saw an idol in the house of one of his maternal relatives, a relative of his mother. So he took it and he broke it. And that was considered by some who do not know the reality of the situation as theft. Two, it was said that he used to take food from the house to go and feed it to the poor. Three, it was said that there was a chicken in the house and he took it and gave it to a beggar. And four, it was said that Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam had a piece of clothing to be inherited by his oldest children. But I don't know about this here because the prophets, their money is not inherited. I don't know if the Sheikh has some comments on this here. The money of prophets is not inherited. Clothing is money. But I'll read what's here. It was said that Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam had a piece of clothing to be inherited by his oldest children. Ishaq inherited it, then it went to his oldest daughter, who was Yusuf's aunt. Ishaq is Yusuf's grandfather, because Ishaq is the father of Yaqub. So Yaqub, then according to this, he had a sister from his father. So that's going to be Yusuf's aunt, or aunt if you want. And she used to have custody of Yusuf after the death of his mother, according to saying that his mother passed away. There's a saying that the mother of Yusuf had passed away. And that she could not bear to be away from him. When Yusuf got older, his father wanted to take him. So she went and strapped that cloth to Yusuf. And she said, I lost Ishaq's cloth. Look and see who took it. They looked and found it strapped to Yusuf. She said, he is to be handed over to me. I shall do with him as I please. So Yaqub let her keep him until she died. And Allah knows the authenticity of these things here. The point of mentioning these is to clarify the statement of the brothers of Yusuf. They said, إن يسرق فقد سرق أخ له من قبل. If he steals, if Binyamin steals, then a brother of his stole before. And they said that aloud. فأسرها يوسف في نفسه ولم يبدها لهم. But Yusuf hid that within himself and did not expose it to them. Yani, he didn't let this break him or make him lose his composure. قال أنتم شر مكانا. He said to himself, you are in a position worse than that of Joseph and his brother. You stole your brother from your father. Yani, by putting him in the well and then trafficking him, selling him as a slave. Notice here the use of the word makan. The word makan here means status, not place. As if Yusuf said, you are in a worse place. Antum sharrum makana. According to Jalalain, he said this to himself. Yani, they said this, they insulted Yusuf in front of Yusuf without knowing who he was. When they said, if he steals, then a brother of his stole before. So Yusuf, he kept that to himself. He kept his composure, and he said, according to Jalalain, to himself, Antum sharrum makana. You are in a worse place. You are in a worse position. A position worse than that of Joseph and his brother. You stole your brother from your father by throwing him into the well and then selling him as a slave. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. That's how a person would forget about his own ill deeds and remember the ill deeds of another. May Allah protect us from that. A lot of people have things, yani, they think a lot about what someone else did. They don't remember what they did. If somebody is really concerned about his own sins, he won't be thinking about the sins of another. He'll be too worried about his own sins. Wallahu a'lamu bima tasifun. Yusuf continued to say to himself, according to Jalalain, and Allah knows better about what you describe. قالوا يا أيها العزيز إن له أبا شيخا كبيرا. They said, oh, Aziz. So he has now taken the position of Potiphar. He has Potiphar's old spot or position. So they called him Al-Aziz. You know, Potiphar used to be the Aziz. قالوا يا أيها العزيز إن له أبا شيخا كبيرا. They said, oh, Aziz, surely he has a father, a very old man of high status, one who loves him more than us. The father of this one, he's an old man and he loves him more than he loves us. فَخُذْ أَحَدَنَا مَكَانَهُ. He loves him more than he loves us, and he seeks comfort in him after his perished brother, because they thought Yusuf had perished. فَخُذْ أَحَدَنَا مَكَانَهُ. So take one of us instead. Take one of us as a slave in his place. Yani, they were saying, don't take him. Take any one of us, but not that one. Because they had to bring Binyamin back. What did their father make them promise? That they will bring Binyamin back unless they get surrounded by an enemy and wiped out. He's saying, either you're going to bring him back to me or you're going to get wiped out. That's why you didn't bring him back to me. So they told Yusuf, take any one of us, just don't take that one. Inna naraka minal muhsinin. Surely we see that you are among the generous. They're trying to flatter him. قال معاذ الله. Subhanallah. That's how some people do. Try to flatter you. قال معاذ الله أن نأخذ إلا من وجدنا متاعنا عنده. He said without lying, we seek refuge with Allah from us taking anyone other than whom our goods were found with him. So there's no lie here in this statement. Because he didn't say here, we seek refuge with Allah from taking anyone but the one who stole from us. Because Binyamin didn't steal. So he said a true statement. We seek refuge with Allah from us taking anyone other than whom our goods were found with him. Yani, If it were really a case of thievery, then it would be wrong to take someone else. Inna idha lavalimun. Inna idha lavalimun. Surely we would be if we took an innocent one, certainly unjust according to you. Yani, Yusuf refused to give him up. They could not talk Yusuf into giving Binyamin back and taking one of them instead. فَلَمَّا اسْتَيْأَسُوا مِنْهُ خَلَصُوا نَجِيًّا. So when they despaired from him, they secluded themselves for private conversation. Yani, they were hopeless. Yusuf would not give Binyamin back. Khalas. So, لَمَّا اسْتَيْأَسُوا, when they were hopeless, خَلَصُوا نَجِيًّا, they huddled up. Yani, they had a private conversation amongst themselves. They stepped to the side just to talk amongst themselves. قال كبيرهم ألم تعلموا أن أباكم قد أخذ عليكم موثقا من الله. Their senior said, do you not realize that your father took from you a solemn covenant with Allah? وَمِن قَبْلُ مَا فَرَّطْتُمْ فِي يُوسُفَ. And previously you were negligent about Joseph? Who's their senior? Kabiruhum. What is meant by Kabiruhum, the biggest of them, is the oldest of them. And he was Reuben. And it was said that what was meant by Kabiruhum was their leader, and that was Shamrun, Simeon, or Simon perhaps. And some said Kabiruhum means the smartest of them. That was Yahuda, Judah. So Allah knows which one he was. Kabiruhum, their senior, said, أَلَمْ تَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ أَبَاكُمْ قَدْ أَخَذَ عَلَيْكُمْ مَوْثِقًا مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَمِن قَبْلُ مَا فَرَّطْتُمْ فِي يُوسُفَ. Do you not realize that your father took from you a solemn covenant with Allah, yani to bring Binyamin back? We have to bring him back unless we get surrounded by an enemy and wiped out. And before that, you were negligent about Yusuf. فَلَنْ أَبْرَحَ الْأَرْضَ حَتَّى يَأْذَنَ لِي أَبِي أَوْ يَحْكُمَ اللَّهُ لِي وَهُوَ خَيْرُ الْحَاكِمِينَ. So I will not leave this land until my father permits me, or until Allah so judges for me to leave this land. And he is the best of judges. What does it mean? أَوْ يَحْكُمَ اللَّهُ لِي, or unless Allah so judges for me, meaning by my brother being released, then I will go, according to Jalalain, or by my death, or by Allah willing for me to leave, or by fighting these people. وَهُوَ خَيْرُ الْحَاكِمِينَ. And he is the best of judges, yani the fairest of judges. Allah. So yeah, it's obvious for you. They really did intend to bring Binyamin back. They didn't mean to lose him. But they got outsmarted. Allah willed for that to come back on them. May Allah protect us from being outsmarted. Ameen. ارجعوا إلى أبيكم فقولوا يا أبانا إن ابنك سرق. So this brother, he continued to say to his brothers, return to your father and say, "O our father," or "O father of ours, surely your son stole. وَمَا شَهِدْنَا إِلَّا بِمَا عَلِمْنَا وَمَا شَهِدْنَا إِلَّا بِمَا عَلِمْنَا. And we did not testify against him except to what we have surely known, because of the vessel being drawn from his luggage. Look at that. They thought that this was definitive evidence that he stole. He didn't steal. That's really what it looked like, though. They thought for sure he did steal because they saw the picture being withdrawn from his luggage. That's a lesson how some things are not really proof. And according to our law, fingerprints are not proof, and some other things. Maybe you know how they have like forensic files, forensic stories. Some cable shows that they run about detective stories and how they use forensics to catch someone. So much of that is not definitive evidence. And perhaps they have arrested and locked up many, many, many innocent people by this process. And some of those stories, they would tell you, had it not been that we found this minute clue, we would have charged him. Something so minute that had it not been for that, they would have assumed. They would have made an assumption and been confident and thinking that they were just, and then they would have punished someone for something he didn't do. Don't don't go by kafir laws in terms of your convictions. Go, yani, settle with the religious rules. Whatever the religion said is valid, is valid. Whatever the religion said is not valid, is not valid. Settle with that. But here, yani, they got outsmarted. They thought that this was definitive evidence. So this was their conviction that their brother stole. So they were told to say to their father, وَمَا شَهِدْنَا إِلَّا بِمَا عَلِمْنَا. And we did not testify except to what we have known. So they thought that they knew. What does knowledge mean? Knowledge means conceiving something as it is in reality. So they thought that they were conceiving something here as it is in reality, but they weren't. وَمَا كُنَّا لِلْغَيْبِ حَافِظِينَ. And when we made our pact, we were not aware of the unseen, or else we would not have done so. What's all of this? This is what their senior was telling them to say to their father. He was saying, go back and tell father this. All of this. He's not done yet. He continues. وَاسْأَلِ الْقَرْيَةَ الَّتِي كُنَّا فِيهَا. And send word to ask the people of the town where we were. وَالْعِيرَ الَّتِي أَقْبَلْنَا فِيهَا. And ask the caravan that we came with. وَإِنَّا لَصَادِقُونَ. Genuinely, we are surely truthful. Now, so what happens when you are a liar? Someone's not going to trust you. It's not going to believe you. You lie to somebody, and you are a liar. Then when you need him to believe you and you're really telling the truth, it's not going to listen to you. It takes a long time to regain the trust of the people after they didn't trust you. قال بل سولت لكم أنفسكم أمرا. He said, rather yourselves have beautified for you some perpetration, yani doing something. Yourselves have beautified for you committing something, something that you perpetrated against your brother. And look again here at the transition. There's something implied here. So what happened? Let's back up here. When they despaired from getting their brother back from Yusuf, they huddled up for a private conversation. So their senior said, whether that means it's the oldest one of them, or it means the leader amongst them, or it means the smartest one of them, Allah knows. He told them to say all of this. Do you not realize that your father took from you a solemn covenant with Allah, and previously you were negligent about Joseph? So I will not leave this land until my father permits, etc. And then he told them, go back and tell father, oh father, surely your son stole, and we did not testify except to what we have known, and we were not aware of the unseen. And ask the people of the town where we were, and ask the caravan that we came with. Surely we are truthful. So that's what he told his brothers to say to their father. And then the next ayah says, Yani the next ayah gives Yaqub's response. قَالَ بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا. He said, surely yourselves have beautified for you, committing something against him. So what's implied here? What's implied is, and so they went back to their father, and then they told their father what their brother commanded them to tell him. And so their father responded to them, بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا. Rather, yourselves have beautified something for you that you have committed against him. Yani, you wanted to do this to him. And I want to, before I forget, retake something that I said here. Here. Inna nafsa la ammaratun bisu. Here, I said this word, ammara, this tat marbuta is for femininity because nafs is feminine. It's possible that that's not for femininity necessarily, and that it's for emphasis only. Although nafs is feminine. Nafs is feminine. But you could say rajulun allama with the ta marbuta. Allama. Then the ta is not for femininity, it's for emphasis. This is ammara. Is the ta for emphasis, or the ta is to match the femininity in nafs? I don't know, actually. So I wanted to fix this before I forget. We'll check it, inshallah. Yeah, it's not written here. That was part of my own commentary. So I just wanted to retract that commentary. And we can check the language there, what's meant there by that tap. So Yaqub said, rather yourselves have beautified for you committing something against your brother. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. Graceful patience is my patience. Sabrun Jamil. Graceful patience is my patience. That's the second time he said this. He said, when he lost Yusuf, he said, فَصَبْرٌ Jamil. Graceful patience. And he kept his good behavior. عسى الله أن يأتيني بهم جميعا. Perhaps Allah will bring all three of my sons back to me. So Yaqub then, he's missing now three of his sons. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. That's serious. As far as the pain, the hurt, the sadness that he would have in his heart for a man or a woman. But let's just say, for a man to lose his son, one of his sons, I don't know how much this is going to hurt. Two of his sons, three of his sons, Allahu Akbar. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْعَلِيمُ الْحَكِيمُ. Surely, he is Al-Alim Al-Hakim, knower of my sadness and wise about my calamities. وَتَوَلَّى عَنْهُمْ. And he turned away from them and he stopped speaking to them. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. This is what you're going to do to someone sometimes. وَقَالَ يَا أَسَفَا عَلَى يُوسُفَ. And he said, oh, my grief over Joseph. Because, why he mentioned Yusuf here? This is years later, and now, isn't it about Binyamin and the senior of those brothers, the Kabir amongst them? That's what just happened now. But he says, oh, my grief over Yusuf. Because what happened now, it just reopened the wound. A wound that had not even healed got torn back open. So he said, Ya asafa ala Yusuf. وَبِيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ. And his eyes went murky white, not pure white, murky. His pupils faded because of crying from sadness. وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. And he was furious with his sons, but suppressing his distress. And this is praiseworthy here. His being Kazim, his suppressing what he had is praiseworthy. As opposed to what, for example, a kafir therapist might say to you, or the likes of a therapist, or even a Muslim who doesn't know what came in the Quran, that you should let it out. You got to let it out. If you don't let it out, it's going to get worse. Slow down here. Learn your religion. Don't talk without religious knowledge. Don't talk from opinions, and don't say what the kuffar say before you verify it. This is not the only spot that praises this withholding what one has, suppressing it. When it says here, he was kazim, suppressing his distress, it means those like he's a full pot. He wants to explode. And if he were a pot with a lid, the lid wants to shoot off of the pot from all the pressure building up in there. In another ayah, Allah says, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. Al-Kazimin al-Ghayz means those who suppress their fury. You keep it in. And what you going to do with it? Get over it. Not unleash it on someone and not go scream into your pillow. Get over it. You could go take a jog. Go run. Go hit the weights. Go work out. Go hit the punching bag if you want. But get over it, قالوا تالله تفتأ تذكر يوسف. They swore with astonishment. They said again, Tallahi, By God, you will not stop recalling Joseph حتى تكون حرضا, until you are on the verge of death. أو تكون من الهالكين, or until you become among the deceased. Yani, you worried about Yusuf until you die. So that's what they said to Yaqub. Look at that lack of sympathy and lack of empathy. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. So what did Yaqub say to them? Tune in next week, inshallah ta'ala. We'll see. Do you have any question I can answer for you? So maybe next week, inshallah, we'll finish the story. Question: what is the authenticity of Jalalain's tafsir? Well, the authenticity of it, as far as I know, is confirmed. You say authenticity means the is it confirmed from its author, which has two authors. That's why it's called Jalalain, the tafsir of the two Jalals, Al-Mahalli and As-Suyuti. Jalaluddin Al-Mahalli and Jalaluddin As-Suyuti. As far as I know, it's authentic. But perhaps you mean by your question, what is the reliability of the contents? The tafsir of Jalalain is, for the most part, fine. For the most part, there are things in there that need corrections, but for the most part, the vast most part, it's fine tafsir. It's useful. The scholars are not busy with the tafsir of Jalalain a lot. Small tafsirs. The laymen like ourselves who are busy with the tafsir of Jalalain. It's useful, mashallah. Yani, personally, I benefited from it a lot. And it has spots that need correction. Those spots that need correction don't debunk the entire book. Or render the entire book useless. And I mentioned some of the parts one needs to be aware of. Well, here in Surat Yusuf, actually, where it talks about how Yusuf, yani, the meaning of وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا لولا أن رأى برهان ربه. So if someone translates that just word by word, she wanted him and he wanted her had it not been that he saw the evidence of his Lord. And it doesn't mean they wanted the same thing. I'm just translating word by word only here. So the explanation of this ayah in the tafsir of Jalalain is not strong. But I don't really recall very well what's there. But I remember hearing very severe warning against it. The tafsir of Jalalain says something when I saw it. Yani, I was expecting it to be abominable. It wasn't like the impression that I got about it. But yani, it's not strong. I'll just put it that way. And some other spots that now in my mind I don't recall. Maybe like 4 spots in the book that one needs to be careful from. Did the brothers of Yusuf commit kufr when they said he stole? I didn't learn that because I don't know that they had any knowledge of him being a prophet by that time. They didn't know, Yani. According to a saying, Yusuf became a prophet in the well. So he wasn't even a prophet yet. The last they had seen him. If you took the saying that he became a prophet as a boy in the well, because the ayah says, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ, we reveal to him that you will inform them, etc. So some say this is a proof that he became a prophet right there. How would they know though? So I never heard that they committed kufr by accusing him of theft here, and yeah, by accusing him of theft here. I mean, Wafiq, not to mention that their statement is a conditional one. إن يسرق فقد سرق أخ له من قبل. If he steals, then a brother of his has stolen too before. This would mean, but if he didn't steal, then the brother of his did not steal. بارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله خيرا.